and welcome to Fox 29's News Now on this Tuesday morning. Developing this morning in Cumberland County. The search is on for a missing 5-year-old girl from Bridgeton. Her name is Dulce Maria Alvarez, and she was last seen wearing black and white checkered pants with flowers on them, as well as a yellow shirt and white sandals. Police say surveillance video in the area shows Dulce in the Bridgeton City Park area. Anyone with information is urged to contact police. Also developing this morning, Chester County may soon be home to a detention center for migrant children. Some residents aren't happy about it, and it's a classic case of not in my backyard. Fox 29's Lauren Johnson has this report from Devon.
Yeah, and listening to all the footage from last night's meeting, it really seems to be a case of he say, she say, and no one really listening to the other side. The big fight, of course, is about this piece of property right here behind me. The meeting was heated at times, but at one point, a big moment of clarity from a spokeswoman from Devereaux Behavioral Health. But it seems some people who live here are skeptical based on the fact they say the group has changed their story at least once about the property at 228 Highland Avenue. First believed to be a teardown for single-family homes. The rumor now is that Devereaux was granted a multi-million-dollar contract to house immigrant children who were detained at the border in a detention center built here. But that may not be the case.
So these children will not be held for detention. That is not the goal of this program. That's not the work that Devereaux does, and it's not the work that we would do. So we are not working with the Department of Homeland Security. We work with the Federal Department of Health and Human Services. The goal of these programs, of which many contracts have been let across the country, is to reunite children with their sponsor in the U.S.
But neighbors are still curious about what will happen next year, especially those who have young children. They are also concerned about the zoning they say happened behind their backs, and some neighbors hoping to file an appeal to prevent this from going through. Public safety seems to be the major concern for most of the neighbors, in addition to increased traffic. And they also say Devereaux has been in their neighborhood for quite some time, and they haven't been good neighbors.
Also developing this morning, chaos at a Philadelphia SEPTA station. That is how commuters and police are describing teenage girls fighting at the train stations. This is a video from a Fox 29 viewer that shows a group of students from 2 Center City charter schools fighting at SEPTA's 11th Street Market Frankfurt L platform last Thursday. The viewer told Fox 29 her niece was jumped by other girls and got suspended for her role in the fight. SEPTA police say these kinds of fights happen daily, and police presence has little effect.
I mean, we have video after video of officers breaking up fights and the fight coming over top of the officer. They don't care if the police are there.
SEPTA police say the fights normally break out once students are dismissed from school for the day. They cited 2 young people in last Thursday's fight, but say this is an ongoing problem and are asking for community help. Also developing a rideshare scare in Chester County. We now know that 2 Westchester students were the passengers who accused their Uber driver of locking them inside the car last week. The 19 and 21-year-old women told police Zacharias Gorgales deviated from their route and repeatedly locked the doors when they tried to exit his car. This happened close to 3 a.m. Friday on the 400 block of South Walnut Street. When the girls finally broke free, they flagged down a passing police officer who spotted Gorgales and arrested him. The story has students thinking twice now before getting into the back seat of a stranger's car.
I would be so scared. My nerves would be through the roof. I also have no idea what I would have done. Definitely don't want to Uber anytime soon. Definitely I feel safer walking around here, to be honest, than Ubering.
Uber says they've since removed the driver's access to the app, and they are working with police to support their investigation. And today in Delaware County, the former president of the Board of Commissioners in Radnor Township will be sentenced after pleading guilty to child pornography charges. Philip Eyre resigned in October of 2017 following the charges. The Delaware County DA says the 66-year-old received and sent images of children being abused by adults. He wrote a resignation letter at the time, apologizing for the, quote, personal mistakes he made. Also today in Bucks County, jury selection is underway for a man accused of helping his cousin kill and bury 4 young men at a farm in Salisbury Township back in 2017. 22-year-old Sean Kratz rejected a plea deal offered to himself and his cousin, Cosmo DiNardo. Kratz is charged in the killings of Mark Sturgis, Tom Mayo, and Dean Finicaro. DiNardo faces life in prison after pleading guilty to killing all 3 men along with Jimmy Taro Patrick. Jury selection is expected to last at least 2 weeks. And in Camden County, a man is charged in the death of a 22-month-old girl left inside a hot van at the Lindenwood Patco station. Camden County prosecutors accuse 60-year-old Shelton Chambry with abuse and neglect. Prosecutors claim he left the child in that van just before 6:30 in the morning on August 16th. He was charged on a summons, then released pending court proceedings. And police in South Philadelphia need your help finding 2 men who attacked a woman at a bus stop. It happened on the 1600 block of Moore Street. Surveillance video shows the 2 suspects lurking around when they notice a 66-year-old victim waiting for the bus. Once they are sure she is alone, the 2 approach her, punching and knocking her to the ground. The men got away with the victim's bag. If you have information regarding the incident, you are urged to contact police. And in Gloucester County, police have released new information about Sunday's deadly crash on Route 42 in Washington Township. The crash happened near Gantown Road. Officers say 24-year-old Justin Lizwiski was driving south on 42 when he struck a 27-year-old man walking by. The victim was taken to the hospital where he later died. The suspect was then arrested for a DUI. And in Mercer County, 1 man is dead and another is in critical condition after a shooting inside a Trenton laundromat. Police say the incident happened yesterday afternoon at the Liberty Laundromat on Chambers Street. Police say one of the victims died at the hospital. The other went to a hospital on his own accord and was taken into surgery. No word yet on their condition. And in traffic-related news, are you pro roundabouts or against? Many motorists say it all comes down to the amount of lanes. This one is located in Swarthmore in Delaware County, and yesterday at rush hour it was surprisingly smooth. PennDOT says it has recently reviewed data for 19 roundabouts statewide that were previously controlled with stop signs or signals. The agency found that serious injuries have been reduced by a whopping 90% over the last several years. And in Cape May County, could rotted wood be to blame for the deck that collapsed in Wildwood? Yellow caution tape now surrounds the home on the 200 block of East Baker Street. The 2nd and 3rd floor decks were full of people when it fell Saturday night. Now engineers are focused on what appears to be rotted wood where the decks were attacked. The collapse sent nearly 24 people to the hospital, including 3 children. A neighbor said she heard cracking and watched the entire thing unfold.
The deck started pulling away from the building, and I saw the looks on their faces. I'll never forget the one gentleman who was sitting right near the rail as he looked back, like, oh my God.
A city official on Fox 29, the building was renovated about 15 years ago and believes that's when the decks were installed. The structure has no outstanding violations, however. And in entertainment news this morning, Saturday Night Live has fired one of its newest cast members. It's a decision that comes after showrunners learned about alleged racist and homophobic remarks on the part of the cast member. His name is Shane Gillis, and in a podcast clip from last year, he was heard making racist comments about someone of Asian descent and derogatory remarks about women, Muslims, and the LGBTQ community. The podcast, called Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast, has video from behind the scenes of that podcast, and when the remarks he made surfaced, following his hiring by SNL, even more remarks came to light. That's when the calls for Gillis to be fired started, so he issued an apology on Twitter, writing, "I'm a comedian who pushes boundaries. I sometimes miss. If you go through my 10 years of comedy, most of it bad, you are going to find a lot of bad misses." He went on to say, "My intention is never to hurt anyone, and he's happy to apologize to anyone who's offended by anything that he said." But SNL decided that he needed to go. Executive producer Lorne Michaels releasing a statement about the decision to not have him join the show after all. Shane tweeted, "It feels ridiculous for comedians to be making serious public statements, but here we are. I'm a comedian who is funny enough to get on SNL, and that can't be taken away." He went on to say he was more of a Mad TV guy anyway. And in the meantime, there is a Philly connection here. The Good Guy Comedy Club at 11th and Race tweeted last week, "We, like many, were very quickly disgusted by Shane Gillis's overt racism, sexism, homophobia, and transphobia expressed both on and off stage. Upon working with him 2 years ago, we've deliberately chosen not to work with him in the years since." And that is going to do it for us today at Fox 29's News Now. Be sure to catch us again tomorrow at 10 a.m. and follow us at fox29.com, as well as our mobile app and across social media. And thank you for joining us this morning.